Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. With me again is Morgan.
Hey, everybody.
So on the 17th, we saw the first single off the new album for BTS, Black Swan.
Right. They did like an art film.
They released a single on Spotify and, wherever else songs are. I only check on Spotify.
Right.
But also the art film done by some dancers, some contemporary dancers from Slovenia. And I thought it was a very interesting way to release a single. Because normally
they're in the videos, obviously.
Yeah. So,
so basically my thoughts on that is that I don't really like contemporary dance very much. Essentially, I like it when dance connects visually with the music in some way or the beat in some way. And that's really obvious when it's, let's say, hip-hop dance or whatever. Contemporary dance is really meant to connect with the emotion or the theme of the music, right? So I don't really, maybe I'm a shallow person or whatever, but I just don't like that as much. So I didn't like it as much. But what I did feel is that I really enjoy the fact that BTS is willing to go there. They're willing to try new things. They're at a place in their artistic careers where they can try new things. They have that liberty. And I think it's great that they try it. Mm-hmm. A lot of K-pop artists do not have that ability or that freedom. Obviously, BTS does. So I think they absolutely should. Even if I don't appreciate it necessarily, because I don't like contemporary dance, I don't like that sort of thing. It's awesome that they're trying it. They're trying to branch out and be more artistic.
Mm-hmm. I was very surprised that this was the type of song that released as their first single, because I don't know, I didn't have any expectations of what that single was going to be. I just thought maybe like, okay, a pop song, Boy With Love, something like that. But this, I didn't know would be something that serious. So that was very different to see the mix of classical music and mixing with the art.
Well, it obviously has some pretty heavy themes. Like they're trying to grapple with their artistic mortality, right? Like think about the quote at the beginning of the video, the thing that spurred it on. What is it?
Oh, an artist dies twice.
Yeah,
a dancer.
A dancer dies twice.
Yeah.
So basically, the idea is that an artist dies twice. Presumably once is when they actually die, when we all die, right? But the other time is when they can no longer do art. And I think they're kind of grappling with their artistic mortality, which has a lot of meaning because they have maybe enlistment coming up, or maybe they're just thinking about when they're not as popular as they are right now. So it has a lot of depth to it, which is appreciated because this depth is not always seen in a K-pop venue. K-pop usually you just sing whatever your company tells you to sing, right? So they're exploring these themes, which is good, which is interesting.
Yeah, there were some people that they look at the lyrics of Black Swan and they think it's about, losing passion. They think maybe it's about BTS thinking about disbanding, but I don't think it's about that.
I don't think it's about any of those things.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to, come to grips with some of these things that are just natural, right? Like they're not going to always be as popular as they are right now. If they enlist, maybe that will dig into their popularity, etc. And we know that the natural lifespan of a K-pop group is generally shorter than, take for example, the Rolling Stones. These guys are 80 years old, right? If you don't know the Rolling Stones, they've been playing since the 60s. They still make a lot of money. They tour, right? Baby boomers love them. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case for BTS, right? Because just K-pop has a shorter lifespan, and they have to come to grips with that. They have a lot of different challenges, and they're just exploring some of these themes in their art.
And just the fact that Black Swan has an art film and not like an actual video that has the members in it, like that's already something different that K-pop groups normally don't do. Like I would compare it to like when Kanye West had his video for Runaway, and it had like if you watch that video, it's like a very long.
Right.
It's like a 10-minute video. The
Or
beginning of it is
when,
like
when Sia had all of her videos, she wasn't in. They're pretty good videos, you know. And as a person who doesn't like that sort of stuff, I can still say they were pretty good videos. So it is interesting, and it's good that they're exploring that side of it.
Yeah. And then when I talk to people about BTS, if they somewhat know them, like they're always gonna say, "Oh, that's a boy band. That's K-pop." They don't take it that seriously. So I think this is gonna be something that helps people look at them in a different way. And
yeah, and you know, I am one of those people that doesn't take K-pop that seriously. So.
Yeah, overall, I normally don't. It's like if something sounds good, then that's great. That's all I ask of it. If it's like, pleasant pop music, that's good. I'm not asking for, classical music or anything crazy. But if they can offer more than that, I'm definitely
I'm the type of
open
person
to
who
it.
doesn't take it seriously in general. But I really applaud their effort to branch out and try to be more artistic. Right? They'll maybe prove people like me wrong. And to give an example, the Beatles were once just known as a quote-unquote boy band or, pop group, but they grew more artistic as time went on, right? When they had the liberty to do so.
Right.
And now people, they sort of view them that way, as this very artistic powerhouse. Because they branched out. At some point, 1970... whatever. Oh, was it 70? I don't want to bore people with the years or whatever. This is so long ago. But
They were only around for like
10 years.
5 or 6 years total.
No. 1960 to 1970. 10 years. 60 to 70.
I don't think it was a full 10 years.
Really?
I don't think so.
We're going to have to Google this. I think it was
Maybe
10.
like 63 to 70. I know it ended at 70.
I know it ended at 70.
Right.
Because they broke up.
Yeah.
And they were doing their own thing.
They did not.
And then
There was no
1980,
Beatles in the
John Lennon was
70s.
shot.
Yeah. There was no Beatles in the 70s. I know that.
Yes. They had their whole rooftop. Gosh. How do we know all this stuff? We're not
'Cause-
as old as you think we are, kids.
No, because it's like everybody, once they figure out, oh, I can listen to music from the past. You have a Beatles phase. Like everybody does this.
Does everybody have a Beatles phase?
I think so. Where it's like, oh, let me just listen to everything there. And then you move on.
Well, you had one. I didn't have one. But anyway, the point is, and that's not bad because the Beatles were a great group. That's fine. They started doing stuff that they found more artistically satisfying. And then the perception of them sort of changed. And I think maybe that can happen for BTS. Is that what they want to happen? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They probably don't want to just be viewed as a boy band.
Yeah.
Like NSYNC. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like right now, our perception of NSYNC today, or Backstreet Boys,
Yeah.
and I'm not even saying Backstreet Boys is bad. By the way, I saw them in concert just 6 months ago. I love them still.
They have nothing to be ashamed
They have
about.
nothing to be ashamed of. I still love them. And in fact, I love them even more than the beginning. Because back in the day, like in 2002, I'm almost ashamed to say that I was an NSYNC fan. I was like, there's no way Backstreet is better than NSYNC, right? NSYNC is definitely better. They have the better looking guys. They have the hotter music or whatever. Like, NSYNC is definitely better than Backstreet. But as time went on, that opinion aged really, really poorly. Backstreet is definitely better.
This is like the one time you may have been wrong.
No, I've been wrong many times. I've been wrong many times. I may not admit to being wrong that often. This is definitely one of the times I will admit. I thought NSYNC was better than Backstreet. I was totally wrong. Backstreet has way more staying power. Like right now, does anyone remember NSYNC fondly? Does everyone? No. No.
No.
What NSYNC song do you like sing at karaoke?
Yeah, their songs didn't have longevity like you think. Like you're thinking back of the people. You're not thinking back of the songs.
Right. And even the people, you just sort of, they're fractured. But Backstreet, you're like, yes, Backstreet. And then one of their songs comes on, at karaoke.
Yeah, everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. Everybody is back in that place. Everybody's, I don't know. We're probably aging ourselves right now. But Backstreet, trust me, guys. Backstreet, the best. The best American boy band
Yeah.
ever. For sure. NSYNC, in hindsight, distant second. Backstreet has the longevity. They're still touring. And people are still going wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? People who are not old enough to see them the first time around, which is like 2000, right? They love them. You know why? Because they're great. Because they're awesome. Backstreet, forever. But NSYNC is just whatever. What was I saying? What was my point? Anyway.
The point was they're
transcending that.
You're only thinking of those groups as boy bands, whereas
Right.
BTS is trying to get beyond that and be like
They're
the
trying to
Beatles.
get beyond that. They're trying to get Beatles status, which is
Yeah.
very, very aggressively ambitious. But kudos. Try. Please, try. Right? Like, NSYNC is just a very, very... I think people remember NSYNC the same way they remember, like, One Direction. They will say, wow, that was a very popular boy band at the time, and we love them at the time. But do we even listen to their music now? No. Do we love them now? No. Backstreet, they'll remember as a boy band at the time, but do we listen to their music now? Yes, because we love Backstreet Boys. Because they have that longevity, right?
Yeah.
And then the next level is the Beatles. Do we still listen to the music? Absolutely. People lionize it. They assign an importance to it that is outsized, right?
Yeah,
And they deserve it. It's great music.
the important thing is, like, you don't think of Beatles as, oh, this was from 1964 or something. Like, it's like timeless now. It's like it could apply to anything.
Right. You wouldn't sing a Beatles song and people say, stop singing that old song. You would say, what? This is a timeless song,
Yeah.
right? And they're right. Many Beatles songs are timeless songs. That is what BTS is trying to get. It's a very, very lofty, very, very ambitious place to go to, but hey, I applaud them for trying. Because if you're not going to try for that, then what are you doing?
Right.
Please try for it, right? Will they make it to that? Probably not.
But I'm so impressed that if you're Bang PD, I wouldn't even think of, like, trying to do that. Like,
Right.
trying to get to that level.
Even if I don't love the direction they're going necessarily, so they should try. This is a great move for them.
Do you think the song Black Swan is related to, like, the movie Black Swan with
No,
No?
but I think you do. So I've seen a little bit of that Black Swan movie. Now, for those of you who have not seen it, Black Swan is a movie about ballet dancers. Just like the quote. It's about dancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it stars Natalie Portman, Mila Kunis.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in this movie, they make out. So obviously now everybody's going to go watch it. Or maybe not. Because, I'm sorry, maybe I'm like dating myself here. But like at a certain point in time, you would say, oh, wow, these two hot actresses are making out with each other in a movie. I'm all for it. I'm going to go watch this movie right now. But like maybe now you're thinking, who are these actresses? I don't care. They're like middle-aged women. I don't care. But at a time and place, just trust me, people were thinking, oh, wow, two really attractive actresses might be making out. I want to go see that. So that's why people saw it. But it was a well-received film. It was directed by Darron Aronofsky. He directed Pi. And, gosh, what did he direct? God, he was such an indie director. He directed Pi. Can you, like, look it up right now? He directed Pi. He directed, like, a film with Hugh Jackman that was really inaccessible, but I wanted to watch, but I never got to watch because it seemed depressing. Because that film had his wife in it, Rachel Weisz, which is one of the women I've always found attractive. I'm like, oh, wow, I would really marry Rachel Weisz. And she married Darren Aronofsky, and she divorced him, and she married James Bond. And I was like, wow, lady, you get around. Not judging her, because like it's not like I'm gonna marry her or anything. She's also in this movie with Jude Law about Russian snipers. Just continue. Okay, enough of Aronofsky.
Well, what was our point, though?
What was our point?
Oh, yeah, Black Swan,
Black
the movie.
Swan. Oh, yeah, he directed Black Swan, correct?
Yeah.
I guess that's what our point was. Move on, though.
The point with Black Swan was, I didn't watch the movie, but the character, it was like,
I saw the movie.
she was very paranoid, and she had like
Yes.
two sides, basically.
Right.
And I think they were trying to portray that with the song and the video or the art film. And it all relates back to shadow, too. It's like the bigger the light, the bigger
I
the
didn't
shadow.
see shadow, so related to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of theme. It's pretty dark. It's like, the more famous you are, the more negatives come with it. And it's almost, the more famous you get, it's like, it's not going to be 100% positive things that happen to you.
Yeah, it's going to be like 30% positive.
Mm-hmm.
Or 20%. It's going to be like a small minority of it, probably. But yeah, I mean, to reiterate, I totally support BTS trying to be more artistic in whatever they're trying to do, even if I don't like the particular art.
And they're BTS. They could have put, any 10 songs together and put them out there, and everybody would have bought it, and everybody would be like on board with that. So that's really good that they're trying to stretch themselves, and
I think it is good that
do
they're trying to
something
stretch
different.
themselves, right?
Yeah.
It is good. Like, they have this video that doesn't even have them. I think it's great.
And
Even if it doesn't hit with everybody, so what?
yeah,
It doesn't hit. Hey, when you try to do things that are very artistic, the mark of that is that it's not going to resonate with everybody, even your fans. It's just not going to resonate with everybody, right? What resonates with everybody? Like a McDonald's meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, oh,
right.
it tastes fine. But what is the value in that? Most people like it. There's no artistic value in things that most people like.
It's like you're just gonna be aiming for average.
Right. It's just like,
It's like Starbucks. Like,
Right.
okay, everyone
most people,
loves Starbucks.
like, nobody has anything really super bad to say about Starbucks. It's good coffee. Is it worth it? Maybe, maybe not. But nobody's going to say it's bad, right? Don't do that. Go for something.
And I do think they put out Black Swan first because it would tie in better with the Connect BTS, which is part of their whole album release.
Right, Connect BTS.
Mm-hmm. Which everybody was wondering what that was when it was put there on the schedule.
They're trying to connect themselves to, like, broader art forms, right?
Yeah.
Which is that's all right. That's good. Although some performance art I don't like. For those of you who don't know, like, there's some performance art out there that's pretty, I don't know. I mean, there's people like using their period blood to paint things. Performance art can be hit or miss. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very hit or miss. So the connotation when you say performance art, it's a little bit negative to me, but it's not necessarily bad.
So if you haven't heard, Connect BTS is a global project to connect 5 cities and 22 artists, and each of them is doing their own kind of art, whether it's like painting or, whatever it is, performance art. It could be any type. Right. And
That's
this is all funded by BTS, and it's part of their album release, and they're funding these artists. So I think I've never heard of an artist doing that, like a K-pop artist or even any artist trying to. I
mean, BTS has transcended just K-pop. They're artists now, and I think it's great that I think they feel like they have a responsibility to support other kinds of art forms. That's what they're doing. Is it always going to hit? No, because some art forms are just they're not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're not going to hit. Like I said, some performance art is bad, in my opinion, and probably in most people's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is good that they are trying to branch out and be greater than just a K-pop group. Because other K-pop groups, they're just K-pop groups, right?
Yeah.
But they have the ability and the power to maybe be something more. So try.
I thought it was so interesting that they're doing this because it's such a new idea, and it just made me think, like, why are they doing this? Like, number one, I'm sure they're interested in art anyway, just as people. We know, they go to museums, like some of them, attend things, and they're interested in all different kinds of music. Yeah. And then secondly, this will promote their album. So the more people are talking about, the Connect BTS artists and, BTS funded my art. And, that's going to spread the word about BTS around the world because it's artists from different countries. And like you were saying, this is going to help them be taken more seriously as artists, not just, K-pop. This is something that will help them be, tied in with the art world and music and art and everything like that.
Yeah. Listen, BTS transcends that at this point. They are bigger than people's narrow perceptions of them. They're going to Congratulations to them for trying. They should. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, probably at some point in 1968, I know this is like too far back for anybody to remember, but in 1968, probably nobody thought that the Beatles were anything but just this stupid boy band that they went on TV and girls were screaming, right? Mm-hmm. Is that not similar to BTS?
Right.
Right? But by 1971, what did people say? They were an experimental group that did stuff, and by 1980, they said, hey, this is a landmark music group. Who's to say BTS can't? Now, do I think they will be the same? No, probably not, right? The Beatles are the Beatles. And I don't want to just say nobody will be the Beatles because I think the boomers are the best. And no one will ever touch your sacrosanct group. No, that's not why. That's not why. But they were a special group. I'll give them that. Mm-hmm. Right? But can BTS approach that? Yes, they can. They can, absolutely. They can. They're trying to branch out from that, right? Mm-hmm. Just like the Beatles were trying to branch out. Will they be as successful? Only time will tell.
I think this will help people connect BTS with art, with like you're just putting those two things together in your mind, like their brand, and I think that's a good.
So hopefully, in their minds at least, hopefully, this will separate BTS from like a One Direction, because in history, when we remember One Direction, when we remember NSYNC, what are we going to remember? Just a boy band.
You just remember a couple of songs you liked. You don't really think of you don't think of a cultural impact. You just think of, I really like that year and those couple of songs.
Right. And at this point, is BTS anything greater? No. But do they aspire to be something greater? Clearly, yes. It's a very ambitious point. When you're like, I want to reach a cultural touchstone the same way the Beatles reached a cultural touchstone. That's very ambitious, man.
You can't do that like intentionally. You just have to do what you do well,
That's very, very ambitious.
The Beatles did, what was happening in the 60s. Like they went to like India and then they did all these drugs and they did everything that happened in the 60s they did. 100%. Drugs. Yeah.
So are you saying like BTS just has to
No, BTS has to do what's relevant in 2020, That's what I'm saying.
Not just doing drugs in India.
No, but that was what they did in the 60s, so that's what the Beatles did.
It's the same sort of path, right? You're a boy band and they're trying to be more. Can you be more? That is the question. I'm rooting for them. Let's just put it that way. It remains to be seen. They got a shot. They've got a shot. BTS totally has that same potential. Totally has that same potential. Will there be
Yesterday, but BTS in like 20 years?
Why not? Why not?
I'd rather watch that. I'd watch that movie.
Why not? And I understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're not doing a movie like that for NSYNC. They're doing that, like Beatles are considered like timeless music. So it's like, let's make a movie where, what if the world forgot the Beatles existed and then this guy made their music.
Oh, like the movie is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that movie.
In 30 years, maybe there will be a Yesterday, a movie, which, by the way, I decried. But not because I hate the Beatles. Because did I even decry it?
No, you just decried Ed Sheeran thinking he's on the level.
Oh, yeah. I don't hate the Indian actor. I think he's cool.
He's fine.
I don't hate the director. I think the director is good. Who's the director, by the way? It is
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle. I think Danny Boyle is a great director. I have nothing against him. I think he's a spectacular director. I just don't like Ed Sheeran. Anyway, the point is, that was a great film. Oh, wait, hold on. It wasn't a great film. I don't want to say that. It was an entertaining
The
film.
point is that it considers the Beatles as this timeless thing.
And BTS can be that same timeless thing. 100% they can. For our time and place.
And I think with Connect BTS, they're trying to advocate for an issue very similar to when they went to the UN and they were talking about love yourself and that whole campaign of self-acceptance and mental
All right.
health.
I didn't even think of that. Right.
It's
Precisely.
similar to that, but it's okay. We need the next thing to talk about. So I think that's another good universal issue is like art appreciation, and so I think that's another reason why they did this.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when people think of BTS, they're gonna think of that's that group. They're really like pushing art all over the world, and it's like they're funding art. That's such a good thing, and they're gonna think well of BTS. And in another way, I don't know if they're trying to do this, but I think this would help them if they're still trying to get an exemption because that's
the exemption.
Yeah, that we are still hoping that they get. I mean, I feel like a lot of BTS Army is just accepted, like they're just gonna enlist.
I agree, and you know what, Army?
It's like
do not accept that.
I don't want to accept that. I don't need to accept anything.
Hey, I'm not even an Army, and I don't accept it. Fuck that. No.
I'll accept it when it happens, but I'm not going to accept it beforehand.
When Jin goes and he has Army fatigues on, I will accept it. But before then,
not a second before.
Not a second before that. I will not accept it. I want some exemption.
They deserve
to be
one.
Done. They deserve an exemption. Period.
Not only
end of story.
Not only are they bringing in so much money to the South Korean economy, this is also part of it is like, okay, you could look at them and saying they're promoting art all over the world with this Connect BTS.
I don't even care about that.
No, but they look at, okay, who's a cultural ambassador? That's some of the things that they look ambassador? At. They are.
Oh, yes, then, obviously.
But
whatever the.
But you know how they give exemptions to.
Like Olympic athletes.
Yeah,
right?
They're top athletes.
Jesus Christ,
and
they're Olympic
classical...
athletes. They do stupid shit like speed skating. Listen, I'm sorry if you're a speed skater or you love it, right? But speed skating is not that important. Listen, the only thing I know about speed skating is that maybe 10 years ago, South Korea was really good at speed skating, right? You know the Winter Olympics, the speed skating around the track?
Mm-hmm.
But we had one guy, Apollo Anton Ono.
Oh, right.
Who was really good at it, and he beat all the South Koreans.
We had one guy.
And he beat all of them. And America said, yay, congratulations to you, Apollo Anton Ono. He was like half Japanese.
Wait, I remember being happy about that. Now I feel bad because now I like K-pop.
You feel bad?
I feel bad for the South Koreans.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to feel bad about that. We should still feel proud.
It's the spirit of competition.
He's American. We're American.
Yeah.
We have the right to feel proud that he won.
He did a good job.
He won whatever he won, right? He was super good at it.
But
he beat them.
yeah,
But they were the quote unquote best at it.
right. I'm sure that was really disappointing for them.
He might have dashed a lot of dreams. I'm sorry to you guys if this happened. But this is competition. This is how it works, man.
I was saying they're gonna care about cultural ambassadors. So BTS is spreading art all over the world. That's gonna be good for them if they're still being under consideration for getting an exemption. Just think about it. They're at an enlistment for 18 months. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. What are you going to get out of their enlistment? Nothing. Just let them tour, please.
It's just going to interrupt everything. And I don't think there's a lot of benefit. The only benefit is like they could say that they served. And then everybody would be like, okay, everybody was equal, so everybody served. So, but that's...
Who cares about that, though?
In the meantime, it's like, how many people lost jobs? How much money did you lose in the economy?
How many people's jobs are impacted by them not doing BTS stuff?
It would be kind of like Amazon. Can you just like stop operations for 18 months?
Stupid.
It's like
stupid.
Why would you do that?
Why? Continue your operations. That's all there is to it.
The smart thing about the Love Yourself campaign and Connect BTS is that it can apply to many ideas, and people can project whatever they want on it, like whatever art they like or whatever idea they like. So
yeah.
I think that works in their favor because it's such universal messages.
Absolutely.
And the whole Connect BTS idea, it also reminds me of Lady Gaga, about how we all considered her just a pop star at the very beginning. What was it, like 2008 or whatever it was when her first album came out?
Way back when.
I actually remember because I listened to her album before it came out in the US. I don't even know how that happened, but somehow I heard it before. Like when it was released in other countries first. And I heard her songs and then I was like, oh wow, how come this person isn't big here yet? And then it happened eventually, so that made sense.
Well, this was back like 2008, right?
And back then she was just a pop artist, and it was just like, oh, this is like, good dance music, good songs. And over time, now we all think of Lady Gaga as this artist, this like multi-talented person who does acting and, several types of music and all, every spectrum of art. And I think BTS is capable of doing the same things. We know they have the talent. It's just, is the world going to consider them on that level? And I think they could eventually. Because now you think of, Lady Gaga, she could be like an EGOT, win a Grammy, Oscar, Tony, and what's the last one?
Hold on.
Emmy, right?
Yeah.
Big hit. Their company is thinking a few steps ahead with this Connect BTS thing, because it was kind of like very different when you first heard about it, but I can see what they're aiming for.
I totally agree with that.
So as far as the artists that are, what would be the word, the ones that were commissioned for Connect BTS. So far there's been a few artists connected with the Connect BTS project. The first one is Jacob Steensen from Denmark, whose exhibit is in London, and his art is called Catharsis, and it's a digital recreation of forests, which I think is a very universal idea and pretty uncontroversial. He's recreating what a forest is like in nature digitally. I don't know how he did that, but apparently he was in the wild, I guess, for a few months and observed all the sounds and sights of what's happening in a forest. And I saw a video of it, and it kind of reminded me of when there's a movie and it takes place in the Amazon rainforest, and how you have like really exaggerated nature sounds. It's like, there's like the water's dripping somewhere and water's running, and there's a monkey sound and all these random sounds, and it's just very like exaggerated and always happening in nature. So it's kind of like that, but that was pretty cool that he was able to recreate that digitally somehow. I don't know if that was like CGI or if he just also created some artificial sounds to sound like what he observed. So that was pretty interesting. The second one was by Stephanie Rosenthal. It takes place in Berlin, and it's called Rituals of Care. I don't have any videos of it. I couldn't find any because I think it's performance art that just takes place at the museum, and I don't know exactly what happens, but Rituals of Care, that makes me think of people in life. Like if you have to take care of somebody, that's kind of what it makes me think of. I don't know exactly what it is, but apparently some people saw it in person and didn't like that amount of nudity that was involved. And
Nudity?
I don't know if that was part of it or if that is just the thing is, sometimes artists, they have nudity and it makes sense, and other times they totally overdo it. It's just all a matter of opinion. Thank you to our guest, Morgan. You can find BTS Happy Hour on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. New episodes weekly. Please comment, review, or rate on the podcast platform you're using. Follow us on Twitter @OurBTS. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.